Google Calendar is a great way to keep track of everything you have going on really in your whole schedule. What I like about it most is that I can sync it so that I could share this calendar with my coworkers, with my family, and I could specify parts of it just as busy or available to them. And it just makes a really great way to easily create events. So, the first thing is, how do we make something an event on our calendar? There are a lot of ways to do this. In the very top left corner, you see I have the create event, and you could shuffle these sidebars around a little bit. You could create event, you could do a quick add, or you could just click anywhere on the calendar to get that same effect. So if I were to go to click create event, and then put in demo, calendar, event, and maybe I want to start it at this time, I could set up which time zone that the event is occurring in. And the reason for that is, let's say that I'm jumping in on a webinar that's happening in West Coast, San Francisco area, and I'm in the Gettysburg area, and so my time zone's very different. The event might be happening, at noon there, at noon San Francisco time. So rather than putting it at 3 p.m. on my calendar, if I were heading off to, I don't know, somewhere in the Midwest, maybe I'm heading off to parts of Texas where they're an hour behind me, but 2 hours roughly ahead of San Francisco, Google Calendar can adjust that information for you. So always put it in the time that it's happened, in the time zone that it's occurring in, not in your time zone. So you could kind of set that information up and finagle that a bit. You could say if the event it lasts all day, if the event repeats, and how often that thing repeats, where it's located. And then in this area, you see I have a calendar. I have some filters from my calendar, some of the different event happenings going on in there. So I've set up some filters, and we'll look at that when we get into our settings. Here you can add a description. You can add an attachment, which means that you could add in some files, whether it's from Google Docs or if you want to upload a file that's related to it. You could set the time so that other people see if you're available, busy, or busy, and turn down any invitations to that meeting time. Then you get the ability to set your privacy settings. And here you could add guests if you wanted to, just by typing in their information and add the guests or not. And then if you need to remove them, you could just click on them to delete them. And then here you could specify what guests are allowed to do. So are you going to allow the guests to modify the event or not? And then this little find a time tab, before I move on, this find a time tab would, if you enable that in your additional settings, which again we'll look at, this will give you the ability to request a meeting time with somebody else. So just know that that's there, and we'll look at how to get there in a little bit. New is the event color, and again, my color is coded based on these calendar settings, so I don't really need to get into all of this all the time. And I could also add a reminder where I could get it to email me and or send me a text message just before the event starts. So those are all options that you have when you create your event. For now, I'm going to discard this and go back to my main calendar. So here you see this is an event that takes place all day, and it displays in the top. And then other things I have displaying, here are some podcasts that I jump in on. So those things are displaying on my calendar. And if I wanted to, in any of these cases, like here I have a meeting that I had earlier today. If it were coming up for tomorrow, what I could do in this case is I can email other people that are a part of this event. Am I attending? Yes, I'm attending. So when people get the email, whoever creates it, when they invite others to be part of the meeting, you can, in that case, it will send out invite so-and-so to the event, and you'll be able to see if they've accepted, declined, etc. You'll see, like I said, I have my events in different color codes, but you also have the ability to add in lots of other functions and features. We'll get to that shortly. We'll make that a second video, but here what you can do is print the calendar, refresh it, meaning just like reload the page. Specify if you want to see it by day, week, month, or 5 days, or agenda mode. So this is kind of just an outline of these things. I like to see mine, generally based upon the week, and it puts a little red line where I am on the calendar. So that's how I like to view these things. And again, appointments are different than tasks. Appointments means you're in a meeting, or, these are the times that you're going to be doing certain things. So that's the main gist. And in the next video, we'll take a look at how to modify the existing settings inside of your Google Calendar.